Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, which you probably are, my name is Jen and I talk about things on the internet, just react, trending topics. But today's video, we are actually going to be talking about body shaming movies or movies that have scenes where they have body shamed women. The first movie we are going to talk about is the classic Mean Girls. I'm sure most of us have seen it all by now, and we're going to be specifically talking about the original. These scenes in particular are a bit, diet culture, fat phobia. So we're going to sort of talk about how Janice, Damien, and Caddy, aka Katie, decide to ruin Regina's body.
Okay, let's rock this bitch.
By making her fat. Now, Regina George is not fat in the slightest, but throughout this movie there are scenes that sort of body shame women. Now, so Caddy gives Regina these Celtic bars to make her put on weight, so she is no longer hot.
They're these weird Swedish nutrition bars. My mom used to give them to the kids in Africa to help them gain weight. It burns carbs. It just burns up all your carbs.
I really want to lose 3 pounds.
There's a scene where she goes to pick up her prom dress and the sale assistant pretty much says, "We only carry sizes 1, 3, and 5. You can try Sears."
Sorry, we only carry sizes 1, 3, and 5. You could try Sears.
To say being a size 5 is large, which if you are not in America, a size 5 is like a small. A size 6 to an 8 if you're an Australian, like it's a small size. So for them to say it's a fat size is absolutely horrible. We should not be doing this. We should not be encouraging girls to stick to this sort of body size because you might be taller. You might have a different body shape. Just because you are not a 1, 3, or 5 does not make you fat. And the whole concept of ruining a girl's life because she's no longer super skinny is horrible. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we making women feel like they are too fat when we already have enough insecurities of our own? And I think the whole thing of Regina putting on weight and the plastics don't want to sit with her because she's wearing tracksuits because she can't fit into any of her other clothes and being called a fat ass.
That's where you're going, fat ass.
Is ridiculous because she's not fat. She's not remotely flat. But being, a girl who's 15, 16, 17 might see that as, if I am any size larger than a size 5, I am fat or I don't deserve, to have friends. That is pretty much what this movie and these scenes are telling young girls, that you have to be a particular size to have friends, to be popular, which I find is ridiculous. Might I add, I do love this movie. I do really love this movie. But I think fat shaming or ruining someone's hot body because they're a certain weight is just ridiculous, like honestly. So which brings me on to the next movie. Now, all these movies have one thing in common, which I will talk about at the end of the video. Now, sticking to sort of the high school theme here, I want to talk about the movie Bring It On, and specifically the third one, All or Nothing. I actually really like this movie. I loved all the Bring It Ons except the second one. Everyone knows the second one sucks. Like, no one talks about the second Bring It On. It was a flop. But we're going to talk about the scene where Brianna is called fat and she needs to lose weight because, Pacific Vista has never had a fat cheerleader.
Pacific Vista has never had a fat cheerleader.
Now, the thing is with this scene is it's attacking athletes because cheerleaders are athletes. They are very strong. They are very fit. They have to do incredible stunts. And for them to say Brianna is fat, which when you look at her, she's not fat in the slightest. She is a strong, beautiful athlete. And in this scene, they are telling her to lose weight. And I'm sure when it comes to any sort of competitive sport or, dance, weight does come up. But as an audience and seeing this, yes, it's relatable, I'm sure, but it's also saying to young girls that if you are a certain size, you can't be a cheerleader and you will not be successful if you are fat. And Brianna is not fat in the slightest. So for any girl who's watching Bring It On All or Nothing still, which I think that movie came out in like 2000 and something, we shouldn't look at Brianna and call her a fat cheerleader because she is clearly not fat at all. The thing with both these sort of movies is they always get this character to be eating some sort of junk food. The fact that we're portraying these girls, Regina George and Brianna, as fat is just mind-blowing to me, and poor girls watching this are going to have some sort of body issue thinking if I'm any larger than these two girls, I must be fat, and this just plays into women's insecurities even more. I understand that pro athletes do have a lot of pressure to have a certain body type, and if we fuel our body with nutrition, good foods, we can perform at our best. I'm saying we as like I'm a professional soccer player or a professional cheerleader. I am not. But what I'm saying is instead of picking at these characters that they're overweight, why don't we just teach them how to be healthy and eat good foods and, do all that? But I guess in the movie biz, that's not really fun. That's not really exciting. That's not dramatic in any sort of way. But it's something that the audience would probably benefit from. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying these movies are just really fat phobic and these girls are not even fat, and that's where I sort of have the issue with. Which brings me on to, we've all seen it. I know we've all seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You'll love it. I love the movie. I love all these movies, to be honest, and I think that's why I've picked sort of these movies. But bringing on to The Devil Wears Prada, the fashion industry. Now, I know, not from experience, just my opinion, that probably in the fashion industry there is a lot of pressure to look a certain way. We get that. And so in The Devil Wears Prada, Andy, this girl who decides to work for runway, doesn't meet the standards of all these other runway girls.
Hire the smart fat girl.
Or doesn't meet the standards of models and everything like that. And in this movie, they mock her for being a size 6.
Wake up, 6.
Ridiculous again. Mock her for eating chowder, pastries, eating normal food.
You don't deserve them. You eat carbs, for Christ's sake.
And she doesn't look a certain way. That's like one sort of diet culture thing already about this movie. The second part is when Amanda decides to starve herself so she can go to Fashion Week in Paris. And the only time she will eat is a piece of cheese when she's really, really hungry.
Well, I don't eat anything. And when I feel like I'm about to faint, I eat a cube of cheese.
But we should not be promoting that sort of behavior when young audiences will be like, oh my God, that's what I have to do to lose weight. If I want to be super skinny like all these other girls, I'm going to have to do what Amanda did and starve myself. No, you do not need to do that at all. This whole movie, The Devil Wears Prada, is just one big diet culture, fat phobia. If you want to get far in this sort of industry, you have to be skinny. You have to be a certain size, which is just not realistic in the slightest. And if someone works in the fashion industry and is watching this video right now, please let me know what it's actually like. Love to know. But promoting this sort of diet culture with young girls, and to be successful in that industry, you have to be super skinny, just not on. It's not what defines you in life to be ultra skinny. That's just not. That's just beauty standards that we have learnt over the years, that being super skinny is being hot, being successful. No, it's not. The Devil Wears Prada is just one big diet movie of starving yourself and glowing up. Andy was already hot and skinny before she went to runway. I just think maybe her outfit choices were a little bit questionable, which brings me on to the next movie. And it's just one scene in this iconic movie, which is Sex and the City. Again, fashion, New York. We're back on that sort of realm. And there's just this one scene where Samantha gets back from LA, she sees her friends, she sees Carrie, she sees Miranda, she sees Charlotte, and they all just look at her gut. And I don't want to even say gut, because it's not really, it's just a little bit of squish. And they make it out to be like, this is the most horrific thing I've seen all day. Just because she's probably wearing really unflattering pants, and maybe she's put on a few. People's weight fluctuates, that's life. But the way that they sort of make it a focus in this scene, it makes it look like it's a bad thing. And especially when Anthony makes the comment and be like, oh, what's the gut? Like,
Mother of God, what's with the gut?
Women's body fluctuates. That is so normal. And there is more important things than just a woman's stomach. And I think this was just a low blow for this movie, is to comment on Samantha's weight when she is clearly not fat. And that is my issue. None of these girls that I have mentioned, or these characters that I have mentioned, are fat. They are not unhealthy, and that's what puts all this pressure on women to look a certain way, or just adds fuel to the fire. Women already feel insecure enough. So for Sex and the City to focus on Samantha and focus on her tiny, tiny little belly is an issue, and makes women look at themselves thinking, I must be fat, everyone's judging me, and it just does not help at all. And the problem with all of these movies is the narrative of, if you want to be successful in life, you must be ultra skinny. If you want to be taken seriously in the fashion world, you need to be ultra skinny. That is wrong. If you want to be popular in high school or have a lot of friends, you need to be ultra skinny. If you want to be a cheerleader, you need to be ultra skinny. This is the pressure that sort of just adds on to women all over the place. And I'm just going to put it out there. You do not have to be ultra skinny to be successful in life. That is just, we have seen plenty of bigger women make it in life. I'm not saying Oprah's fat, but on the scale of beauty standards, she is bigger than the ultra skinny. And she is one of the most successful women out there. And it wasn't based on her body. The media did have a lot to comment about her body, but she wasn't successful for the way she looked. She was successful for what was up in here, and the things she talked about and the things that she did. Being a certain size does not take away from what is in your brain, what you can achieve, and it shouldn't determine your worth. Your weight is not what you are worth. And I think movies like this just subconsciously, for some, put in diet culture to some girls out there. I need to be ultra skinny to be successful. No, you do not. You can be successful no matter what you look like, as long as you're healthy. Because I'm not encouraging people to be obese either. There is definitely a scale, and I don't want people to think being obese is healthy, because that is definitely not either. But putting pressure to starve yourself or to look a certain way is also not healthy. There is definitely a line of balance that we need to teach women, guys out there, whoever, that that's probably the best way to go about life. And we need to stop trying to meet these high beauty standards that majority of us don't actually reach or meet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty average. Most of people are pretty average. To be this ultra skinny sort of top model look, you're going to be in like the top 1%, maybe 2%. I don't know the percentages of it all. But what I'm trying to get at is, you don't have to be ultra skinny to be successful. And these movies just put pressure on diet culture. But I can do a part 2 if you would like. There's some other movies I would love to talk about. If there's any movie that you think would be a good one to talk about, let me know in the comments. I'm sorry I went MIA for a little bit. Had some, I was just self-doubt, a lot of self-doubt, but managed that. So here we are, back again. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you next time.